Something as of late has seemed to plague the realm of anime is a spike in hype for a show each season. While I can't be the automatic judge of this as I only started watching seasonal anime a year or two ago, based off of how many others seem to be reacting to this, it seems like something very new to anime. While hype is something that has been around in almost any form of media, such as from movies like Batman vs Superman to video games like Battlefront, this is a concept that has become a lot more prominent nowadays due to the ease of access to internet in our newfound ability to share our god-tier opinions with the world. And it seems the more mainstream something gets, the more hype that forms around a show. And while different things are going to have a different level of hype, especially anime based off the genre, they still form the same basic effect and transition of people's thoughts on the show from beginning to end. Well, this is more for the likes of anime because you can kind of feel the wave of mixed feelings right away from movies. First, the show comes out as an interesting concept. Lately, it seems to be superpowers and time manipulation, which I guess you can kind of say it's a superpower, but I digress. The show garners some interest from a few. Then around episode 3, we have many raising the show to be god-tier anime. Oh, by the way, sometimes these shows already have hype before the show even airs, and this can speed up the effects of the previous step in the next step, which is in seeing the hype and the praise the show gets. People then step in to tear the show to pieces because other people have stupid opinions, and I am obligated to trash the show for being popular and rate it a 1 on Mal to balance out those 10s that people uncaringly and stupidly gave the show. And after that, we get to the end, and this is a sweet part of the show's life where people do start seeing the actual flaws the shows do have, and we get people that honestly logically point out positives and negatives of the show. Well, we still have those who think it's a masterpiece and those who hate it because they hate popular things. Then 2 weeks later, the show disappears until top 10 lists for the season or the year appear. We hear a whole bunch of shit flinging back and forth once again. But the question is, does all this really matter? Or is this really a bad thing? Or a better way of saying this, is hype a bad thing? And to be blunt, no. Well, okay, it really depends. As you can look on YouTube, you can find multiple people talking about hype, whether it's bad or not. And I haven't really watched many of these videos, but the fact that people make videos talking about this and insinuating that hype is bad, more mainly on the titles, it's apparently something that people think is a bad thing. And truthfully, it's a very vague statement, and honestly very opinionated in that fact. Some say it's bad because, oh man, that hype makes all these overrated shows appear everywhere, and I hate seeing it everywhere. Which is not like you can just ignore it. Then there are those who think it's bad because holy shit, Mal's score is so much higher than it should be. Oh man, time to give it a 1 because even though the score for the show should probably have no real effect on my opinion for a show, and I probably should form my own unbiased opinion, I'm still gonna give it a 1 anyways. But hey, you can do what you want. And on this point, I will go into a side conversation about Mal scores and how I find it interesting how shows presentation can completely change what the score will be. And mainly I'm saying how you watch the show. Watching a show weekly overall will have a bunch of different effects on someone's view on it than binge watching a show, because when watching a show weekly, you have a better chance of being affected by others' opinions, especially if you go to forums. Outside of that, aspects of the show will have different effects, like cliffhangers, and the flow of the show as a whole will feel different than someone binge watching the same show later. Also, if you're watching a show season at a time, it can also change one perspective of the show too. For example, let's say a show like ReZero, the polarizing show of the year. The first season is just a big setup for the characters, the world, and the story for the rest of the show, and this is something many criticize the show for, and having no real focus to what it's trying to do until the end. And if the show doesn't get more seasons, then after the entire show airs, this opinion for this first season will be different if you're one to completely binge it after the entire release, by the fact that you will be able to move straight to the next section of the series without having to wait at all. This way of looking at reviewing a show is another reason why show ratings shouldn't have as much prominence as they do, because the way people watch a show may be completely different from how others watch it. But nonetheless, let's get back on topic. We then have those who think that shows with a bunch of hype will ruin anime because the popular ones aren't part of the genre that they like, and the anime industry will of course start pandering to those types of shows, and those people would then be forgotten. And then we have those who think having these type of shows with so much attention like Attack on Titan and One Punch Man, anime will start to become more mainstream and tainted by the business industry, because anime as of late has been growing extremely fast rate. I mean, I see more anime items every week at Target and other stores, maybe not a week, maybe months, but I see a lot of anime stuff popping up in these types of stores. And again, these are all based off perspective, these reasons are. They don't come together as one statement to say hype for a show is bad, or good, or a neutral thing. A lot of it's based on perspective. Yet, the first two reasons are kind of superficial and are people's own personal issues, which, hell, many get pulled into hype. I do, my friends do, my family does, but in my opinion, it's not in this instance to say hype's a bad thing. As for the next two reasons, those are a little more viable reasons against big anime, especially the second, because there are two sides of that. With the anime industry the way it is, having studios going out of business and sales for Blu-rays are going down and pirating getting worse, having big shows grow out and getting more attention, whether you like them or not, in the end can help out anime's growth with bringing in a ton of money to the industry, and in turn can help make a better, more quality in anime. Also, helping to bring dubs faster here and helping to make these shows more accessible. All these things are happening. Some dubs are coming out as fast as almost the subversions are coming out. Animation and quality of many shows have been going up in the past few seasons. People are now able to buy and enjoy these shows at a lot faster nowadays, thanks to Crunchyroll and other companies. And honestly, this is a great time for anime. Problem is, the perception is that anime nowadays is trash. Because the problem is the fact, because these studios are trying to juggle making 2 or 3 shows a season at a time, and each season you can have upwards of 50 to 80 animes a season, and of course, most suck. Also, people's thoughts on the fact that moe has become a very strong, prominent part of the anime community. And again, that's just another genre, and it's not like back in the past there weren't shitty genres or shitty shows that came out. It just happens a lot of people don't seem to like this new form of genre that has been created, but that doesn't make it bad. And also, people like having anime as their own sort of niche, and as it gets bigger it starts to draw in new people and becomes less of a niche, and well, some people don't like that. So people view these times as a horrible time for anime, and I could go on, but I'm getting off topic. As for those who find anime becoming mainstream as a bad thing, I can somewhat understand this, because as something getting popular, the more business structured and organized things can get, and overall what is shown and not shown can be completely changed by this fact. There are a lot of examples of this, as in companies starting to change their prospects of when their audience sort of changes, such as, let's go with ESPN outside of anime, the fact that they started doing esports as video games and the competition of them started to rise. Well, this is something that is way outside of their comfort zone, you'd think. It is something that they started to promote due to the fact that, again, competitions for video games had started to grow and skyrocket, and they saw this as a business proposition that they can make a lot more money on, so they went there and started to actually show these events on TV. This is something that could happen in the future with anime if they see that one genre is a lot more popular than others, so the shonens are in general probably the most popular of these. This could drive away a lot of the people, and these other type of genres start to disappear. Luckily, I don't think this will happen completely for anime due to two facts. The fact that ESPN, while they did start to expand into different territories, they do still show sports all the time. Just because a studio, while they might change it up and start showing some other things, it doesn't mean that they won't stick to some of the other genres that they're used to before. And honestly, a lot of times studios are very versatile and show different genres either way. And also by the fact that there are so many studios out there. Each season, at least 1 or 2 studios will make a show based off a certain genre that you may like or may not like. So I don't think the fact that one genre might get bigger, this will swamp over every other genre and nobody will make one for them. The quality for that might fall a little bit. That's the risk with anime getting somewhat bigger. But I don't think that'll make all anime genres obsolete other than the very popular ones. But with that, I don't think hype is destroying anime. As of the last few seasons, while we haven't had 20 amazing shows, we get 1 or 2 great ones and a few other good shows, and these different random shows that have a ton of hype create debate among people, which is, I think, is a good thing. But honestly, how many animes a season do you really need to watch? Because I know at times trying to watch 9 to 10 animes a season can be a pain in the ass, so I am fine finding 2 or 3 shows a season that are enjoyable and just watching them. But again, a lot of this can be formed for one's own perspective, as someone may have hated the past few seasons and find these aspects that I've explained to be legitimate reasons for why hype in anime is bad, but truly, I don't find it to be a bad thing, because now others are able to enjoy these shows that we all love. And if you hate the latest seasons, the good thing is, with those seasons of 50 plus anime, we now have a shit ton of anime out there just waiting to be watched. So in the end, I don't think it's a bad thing. Sure, sometimes you may not like seeing the hype for a show, or you don't think it's really that good, but luckily, you don't have to like it. You don't have to watch it, and you can just ignore it. As a whole, hype can help bring better quality to these shows that we love. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you all think. Do you think hype is the spawn of anime hell? And do you think every show with hype is utter trash? Or do you think that it has its place? But my name is Arcane Keyblade, and I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, then please punch that like button, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.